had no clue about.
What in the actual crap, Lee?
Okay, I'll be right back. I'm switching microphones.
He didn't know. He didn't know that you Twitch streamed it.
Streamed what? I don't know what you're talking about.
And also the YouTube channel.
Yo, I want royalties for my stupidity, okay?
You think I earn money? That's funny.
Yo.
That's funny.
No. This is a licensing issue.
Hey, I'll take the videos down. Like, literally makes no difference.
Honestly, do whatever the fuck.
No, it was just a shock to the system and stuff, because I was like talking to the others. I was like, yeah, when I'm gonna play D&D, and I said, but if you guys are curious,
I don't know. Maybe Lee's the Asmongold of D&D.
I
don't know.
wish.
And then Stefan was like, what? He streams it? I went, yeah. And he also uploads videos to YouTube. And he went, hold on a minute, I need to talk to someone about this. Plus, to a degree, it would also give you more viewers as well, because the others were like, "What? We want to watch this."
Ooh. Yes.
Dude, if my stupidity doesn't bring you stuff, then I'm afraid nothing will.
I mean, to be fair, like, it's. I don't know how to word this right. It's my own fault, is what I wanted to say, but it's not because I don't want things to be good. It's not because of a lack of trying. It is technically that, but it's more of a casual thing. It's for, I can't think of the good word for it. It's for the memory of it that I stream it, upload it.
It's not your fault that I'm stupid, if that's what you're saying.
It's for the memory, and also the perks of also being able to advertise to people who are perhaps wanting to learn about D&D and just finding out in the most casual way.
That is absolutely not one of the thoughts I had, but thank you. That's a good idea, actually.
Oh, you're welcome. What can I say? I'm just the good ideas.
To be fair, given the amount of homebrew and weird shit we do, I mean, I wouldn't put it as a good advertisement for normal D&D, but D&D in general.
Yes, that's what I'm on about. D&D in general.
Who the fuck here is normal? What the fuck? That's crazy.
Okay. As well, everybody roll your d20s. I will not ask you to recap because it's been a bit. However, whoever gets the highest roll will be the one that gets the inspiration. Which at the minute looks to be Connor.
I can't do it. I became a merchant.
But yeah, Lee, I was going to say, were you wanting me to share your link for those who want to watch it?
Yeah, go for it. At the very least.
Yeah, I thought I'd just double check with you.
Yeah, fucking come on. You guys, most of these lot didn't even know I was streaming in the first place. I'm not going to say, yeah, no, I don't want free viewers, please.
Right, you know what, I'll just put it on gaming news.
Also, if anyone does watch it, tell me if the audio levels are shit, because yes, always. My whole life is a stream of suffering.
Okay, so just to let you know, I bought my very first dice set in the hopes of beating this dice curse. I'm gonna roll once online and one of my physical dice. Do you think the physical dice will be higher or lower than the digital one?
I think now the digital die will be higher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to fuck with you.
Oh, you.
So,
okay, what's the physical one?
Oh my!
It would appear that the dice was listening.
All right, let's see if I can roll a one with my physical dice. A 14, not bad.
We shall see how well this goes in the future.
So, Lee, which one am I allowed? The physical or the digital?
Right. So, firstly, I did say it last time. In terms of doing physical dice stuff, for the sake of fairness, and I'm not saying you would cheat, but historically, I have I've had a very annoying time with those kinds of people, and so I'm always wary. If you do want to do a physical dice thing, I would rather it be a video thing or something with a clear cut there and then we can just see you do, instead of you sending pictures as well, because it's more of a delay if you have to send pictures each and every time anyway, because the amount of dice we roll is absurd. You can do whichever you want, as long as we can see the result in real time, so to speak, if that is okay with you.
So if I was to ever use physical dice, you'd rather I fit video. Let me see if I can with this.
Do a dice scan or something.
Hey,
Wrong camera.
nice. Hey, look at you
You
in
see
your
that?
PlayStation. Hell yeah. 6 is dicks.
Uncensored hands. Uncensored hands.
I can
How
see his
loose.
fingers.
Yes, I actually have hands. I'm not just a voice inside the phone.
What the fuck do you mean?
I have hands.
Okay.
Yes, I also have feet as well.
Firstly, does anyone know a good music bot for Discord? Because Vixera, the one I had, is apparently no longer doing music for reasons.
There's one that a couple of my mates uses on 2 different servers,
Like-
and it's Tempo Bot.
Oh. Hold on.
But that plays very strictly to
Can it do?
Spotify soundtracks.
Uh,
But you do on Spotify, you do get a fair few D&D tracks, which are good. Like the Dragon Father is good for D&D tracks.
Oh,
and
it's
also just typing in general.
it's solely because I've got to do copyright free stuff. Because otherwise, immediately Twitch and or YouTube will slam
I
it to
think
death.
there's a copyright section as well. Inside.
Well, at the very least, as long as I can put a link in it for YouTube or somewhere else.
There are royalty-free playlists on Spotify.
Oh yeah, no, but I mean like for the moment anyway, because I don't want to delay the game too much by trying to get the bot working.
That's fine.
I'll get a Spotify thing running afterward, and luckily my other half does have Spotify Premium, so.
Yeah, I've got Spotify as well.
Nice. Well, not to delay anymore. If you do get any good names for me, Connor, send it to me privately as and when. That would be appreciated.
Yeah, sure.
Apparently, for once in his life, Kerbal's space program can roll a natural 20. So, luckily as well, you don't have to do any recaps. Otherwise, Stefan would be doing it today. So, Kerbal, of course, enjoy yourself a inspiration.
If I already have it, can I give it to someone else who
You
doesn't?
can indeed.
Shout out, who needs inspiration?
I'll take it.
Connor gets in
I
there
think we do.
first.
I was ready.
It's like mine.
Would anyone like mine? Gimme!
Okay, you had yourself some inspiration. So, last time for short and curlies, because I'm probably going to have to remember this as I say it, but the best parts that I remember is you all had a lovely drunken night. Bit of talking here and there about some bits, nothing really too massively investing.
Yeah. Skip to the important part where I became a merchant.
So, once upon a time, there was a young maiden of spikes and thrills aplenty she did have, as she had found out that she, too, could become a merchant with simply a piece of paper in her palm.
That was about the epic quest that went on.
Yes. First, there was word from her friends about how mercantile work was not exactly all that easy. You had to be officiated and the like. She needed paper, however. And there was one very long and weirdly large-sized hatted lady nearby that happened to have some paper, which you got your hands on. But then there was more. It turned out that you had to get it officially signed? How are you going to ever get that to work? It turns out that there were
That's the good part.
there were good there were people in the village that could do it for you. You went to the chief of the expedition, asked him to sign it, and painstakingly, your heart almost bursting out of your chest, thinking he wouldn't do it. He'd ask you on some immeasurable, painful quest, but no, he decided to be kind. He signed it for you, and like that, your dream, your ability to be the merchant you always wished, that you didn't know before 1 hour ago, came to light, and the wondrous Nadissa became a merchant. And now, unbeknownst to her, everybody is slightly concerned she's going to try and sell them things, or make poor decisions and try to sell people or monsters that they meet some things. But Nadissa is now a marchand. Congratulations.
Thank you. I don't know what everybody else was doing while I was on this long and epic quest, but
I think
that
it was
is
getting over the hangover. I think
Nice.
your way of getting over the hangover was becoming a merchant.
It's a trap!
But yeah, soundboard aside, everybody got drunk, everybody had a nice time, woke up, food was made, Nadissa became a merchant. I think it's not officially mentioned just yet, but you lot, after having food, Sol was called over by everyone's favourite druid, and he had mentioned that he had a personal mission that he needed to get done, and he would prefer, and he needs, Sol to join him on it. In an adjacent sense, he needs you lot as well, because you are capable. And since at current there is no pressing missions that you lot really have to do, when you are all ready, he will come over and ask you guys to assist him in that endeavour. But I partially believe, other than a couple of little bits here and there, like Carrot being KO'd and escorted to bed, and then the next day being woken up to good food and the like, slightly grogged. That's really about it. You guys had a little bit of a conversation, thanks in part to Sol, with his ability to understand the language that Brick speaks. You had a conversation about his wants and his possible needs in the future, and other than him wanting to return home at some point, it's a long-term thing. It's something he wants to do eventually, and he will leave the party for that someday. But given how close you all are for the moment, you have him for a while. But all that said and done, what do you guys want to do? You are all still in the more so earlier hours of the morning, about 10, 11ish. You're all still kind of sat around the table with a couple of the village folk and a couple of other people wandering by here and there. Everyone's in mostly a swing of things, the daily routines. What do you guys want to do? Where do you go? What do you say? You have the floor.
Just to add,
Go ahead.
sorry, just to add, I think at the end of our last session, I think both Sol and Halvy's pentacles were reacting to something.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah,
Was
I
it? Was
put
just-
it back in the bag because, man, I don't want to deal with this right now.
Oh, it was just Sol and Halvy just being bros, bonding.
You could say he was just talking and shit, and then
You could say there was a hot tub involved.
5 feet apart though. Because they're not gay. So,
Oh.
bros
That's
chilling
fine.
and 5 feet apart because I'm not
Okay.
gay.
But yeah, no, their pentacles were reacting to something, but given at the minute there's nothing immediate going on, it was one of those, it's something to deal with at some other time.
Mm-hmm. If we wanted to say something, it should have been more clear. Right now it's a jumbled mess.
Cool.
So, do we have a mission? I mean, we need to go to the people from before and then to the tower, I guess.
As of the minute, other than anything that you guys might want to do, nothing has been placed into your lap other than Halfir's personal mission, which he has put as a strict "I need this to happen soon" thing. Other than that, you guys haven't had an opportunity to really speak with Reginald or the leader of the mercenary band for any current missions that they might need to send you on. So you've kind of got a literal field of opportunity before you. I actually don't think you guys have had the opportunity to talk about what you encountered yet.
Nope, because we encountered the people from Ferron. Yeah, Ferron. And then they more or less got escorted to the camp, and then that's when, meeting in the tent was held, and by that point we got bored of waiting, so we got drunk.
Yeah.
Long and short of it all, anyway.
So right now, I'm assuming we're waiting for Sir Reggie and the higher-ups to finish their meeting and see what happens next.
I think it's finished.
Yeah,
we just got very drunk and everyone went to bed.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all finished. All right.
That would have been finished somewhat around the first, after the first hour of you guys getting drunk. But by that point, you guys were in the middle of it, and there was too much of a distraction going on around you. You wouldn't have noticed that they'd finished their meeting.
Lee, is there a board that has like jobs or anything that he's doing?
Not particularly. A lot of it is simple work that some of the villagers might need help with, or something that Reginald or his assistant, the mercenary leader, would ask you guys for. They're only set up in this camp temporarily, because it's the closest and only thing that they can establish as a safe zone. So not enough of a home base has been made here that they can just place up those kind of boards and everything, because this is still a village. This is people's homes that they're currently using as a base. They can't just set up boards and the like. Not just yet. So usually if you guys want a mission, it will be through Reginald specifically. So, it is 11 in the morning. The sun is gentle, a little bit warm around the neck, but the Jinsei are still outside. They seem to be currently foraging, most of them, collecting what they can from this local area. The villagers are mostly staying wary and keeping a distance from them. But at least since a lot of the Jinsei are humanoids, not really much of a diversity in terms of like scalage or anything like that. There's not really, as far as you can tell, there's no dragonborns, no lizard folk, none of that. So they're not about to draw pitchforks and shoo them away from their homes if they got any closer, but they're still wary of strangers. Around you all, there's a gentle music playing. It's from the sound of seems to be a loot or a lyre. It's in around that range, coming from possibly one of the huts in the distance. It goes without saying, the map itself is just most parts of the inner village, but there are a couple of huts spread out across the forest around you. At the further back where Reginald's tent is, you can hear the sound gently making its way over, slightly muffled in the distance. As you guys enjoy your meals, and little bits of what's left of the either water or alcohol, however you take your mornings, you hear the sounds of footsteps coming from Reginald's tent, and the door eeks open. Elnalise is not in there. She seems to have disappeared at some point early in the day. Reginald comes out, looks forward. Excellent. I see you're all awake. What a surprise. After your foray into the drinking last night, I'd assumed you were all, what's the simpler word? Unconscious. If you would all meet me in my tent, no tarrying, please. And then he turns back around, leaves the door open, sits in the back.
Carrick lets out a bit of a deep sigh, holds his head and just stands up. Right. I just look to everyone else to see what they're doing.
I guess I'm going to get up and make my way to the tent.
Alex will do the same, just stand up and start making his way towards the tent. I will keep an eye on Nadissa and Carrick to see if they're walking straight.
I'll grab some food and then I'll go with them.
Okay.
He's fine with walking. He's just sort of like not as casual about his walking as he usually would be. He's just a bit draggy, low-key draggy.
Okay.
The hangover isn't as much in his movements, it's more on his face.
So, as you all slowly make your way in, Reginald looks over each of you. Each of you take which way your guys' tokens are at the minute, is where the seats are in the room. Close the door behind you. Good. I'm rather glad you're all actually cognizant of the orders. I was rather expecting someone to take a tumble. Nonetheless, I see you're all back. You've enjoyed your merriment, but I would like an update on your ventures. If you'd be so kind, somebody.
So, I guess I'll go. Oh no, wait, that's fuck, that was so long ago.
We fought just the Harvard, and they moved their... The area we found them was where they were laying all their eggs. What was it, like a nursery?
Swamps. It was like a swamp, and then you had to like go in some cave, I think. And we found the Sahagin in combat with some other mercenaries. We helped them.
We also spotted a mystery creature before we got to the Sahagin nest, remember?
Did we?
Yeah, it was like a slime-looking thing.
It was half melted, which we later encountered.
Yeah.
Where
and
we fought the Kraken.
We also found broken down merchant carts.
Right. Yeah.
And that was before we
Sounds
found the
like
entrance.
merchant.
I feel like Nidissa would be very sad as she remembers, oh yeah, there was merchant carts. Oh no, all that stock. Oh, my friends, no!
I could have took one.
They could have been merchant buddies.
This is not very stoked.
But yes, do continue, everyone, sorry.
And after we helped the Saharan fight the other mercenaries, we had a bit of a chat with their leader, and we managed to convince him to take his, would you call it a flock? No, a tribe? Tribe.
Tribe.
To settle somewhere else far away and not cause any troubles. While we did that, we also got in like a big ass underwater cave, fought a kraken, and got this, and I showed the underwater pentacle.
He kind of looks at it, and there's no face of recognition beyond a vague amount of familiarity that which you take to mean him thinking it's the same one you already have. Very
It's similar. It's similar. Yes.
very interesting. Why would they? It is a shame about the convoy. It was one of very few that we've managed to get to the Isles, but we will work around that difficulty. And now that the beasts have, we shall call it relocated, that hopefully puts us on good terms with that area, and hopefully an easier time to get someone around again. Perhaps
It might be easier. Sorry to speak out of line, but might be easier if we do come across them again, as we've met their clan leader, to send them to maybe negotiate with them again, because the leader did say himself that if we do survive the underwater excursion where we found the other pentacle, we are to visit them again, and that, well, he would welcome us. And that could lead to future possibilities of maybe stabilizing some form of peace.
wonderful news indeed. I must say, I expected good things from each of you when you'd arrived, but the results you're bringing me are rather much better than I'd expected, I will admit. I will, when he then goes, taps the table a couple of times and says, good news before I forget about it. In another part of the Isles, there is a base being constructed. It is all of a hush-hush kind of thing as of the moment, so keep it to yourselves, just on the off chance that someone is listening. But once it is all up and running and ready, we will relocate there and bring these fine folks with us. It will act as something of a keep, you might say. So it will take a while, possibly within the 2, possibly maybe later 3 months, depending on the delays and the construction time, but we have managed to forge something of an alliance with the Kenra folk. They have allowed us a small nook away in their territory, temporarily. In return, we have given them supplies of rare herbs and assorted jewellery, finery and the like from Ginasta and Gustodon as a sign of respect, and they've allowed us these locations. Once the place is constructed, we will need your assistance in bringing things to and fro, and maybe bringing the people here over there. You will act as a escort of a sort. If that is within your willingness, you will be paid well, of course. But you are more than welcome to continue the work you are already doing, as the work you are doing is bringing us more people and more diplomatic resources to my lab, which, despite the paperwork being on my end, you are at least giving me the people that I can work with. So, I don't suppose you would like to know the fruits of the labor between that young Jinsei man last night and myself, if you're interested.
What?
It wouldn't hurt, no.
He kind of nods, looks at Nadissa for a second. You see, he pulls out this like small segment of cheese and just throws it to you. That should occupy you for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sounds interesting. We could, do a few of those shipments. Yeah, I mean, if it pays well, then sure.
Well, of course. Well,
Yeah, it'd be handy to know.
It's
It'd
not
be-
just. Go ahead.
Karen.
I was just going to say that I'm sure it's not only my decision, but don't people have any issues, right?
Sure. I'm not a stranger to escorting large caravans. I have experience, and plus, as you said, it's well paid. I'm all ears.
wonderful.
And about this information you said that you have about the occurrences of last night from the group that came from the Pharaon camp, I'd say it'd be interesting to know.
Well, firstly, in that regard, we already know that they were sent here by the Emperor, King, whatever he claims himself to be. They say they have a claim to this isle by lineage. Honestly, I believe it's based on rumor, it's based on superstition, so on and so forth. There's no legitimate claim that they can give as proof. But I'm not willing to casually toss aside a possible ally under my own disbelief. Not to mention we have not the power to deal with them in such capacities. I had learned that, firstly, they are more than welcome to completely ignore our efforts on the isle in terms of settlements and the like, so long as any other encounters they have with beasts and the like around here is left unhindered. So I'm afraid I must, unless you wish to go the proverbial rogue alone, I must suggest, should you encounter any more of their group, if you are not acquainted, you just leave them be. However, in
Put
return...
up my arm.
Sorry, go on.
I put up my arm. Like my hand. I raise it.
Yes, Nidissa?
Do you have a backpack?
Not on me, but are you asking that you would want one?
Yes.
Okay. He then points toward the window that currently has some curtains closed, but you can kind of see an eek outside. He points outside and just says, "If you go talk to the lovely young lady just outside of my tent and ask for a backpack on my tab, she will pass you one.
Okay.
I assume this is for your latest endeavors with..."
I've gone out.
And then you're just like... already just out and the door closes behind you. She's a unique specimen, I must say. But back onto business quickly. They, in turn, have offered, when we've come to move our people, and or if there's any resource trading, then we can do so. They have also offered, should we make the agreement amenable on both sides, that we can use their channels to import and export, which means now it will take hopefully a little less time to get the resources we need here. It will, however, expend more resources we already have for the expedition, which means the chances of me sending more people to locations you cause to be desolate is less likely. So such as the place you mentioned where those sea folk were, I don't believe I can send more than yourselves or some of the mercenary that are already here to collect anything that was left over or secure the place. But for the grand scheme of things, it will do. We will make use of what we've got. We are somewhat strained. As well, it turns out that the Jinsei are pulling more and more troop in. The man that acted as their spokesperson also let me know that there has been, and it might possibly be in relation to the people you mentioned, you saw the sea folk fighting. There seems to be a small warband off in the northern isles of the island that seems to be making bargains with the orc folk.
Warband? I thought they were mercenaries.
I say warband in terms of the scale, more so than what they are. They could be mercenaries, they could be designated as a warband, I'm unsure.
How many is there? Because when we did come across them in the cave, they were, well, what's the word for it? Very put set in their ways that they were willing to fight to the death and they didn't care if they died. And that is some strenuous types of mercenaries, if you ask me, because with my experience, most mercenaries I've met will always want to run and fight another day to gain the extra coin on another time, rather than die for it. They seemed hungry for the fight.
Well, I don't know so much about their motives, but in terms of numbers, I've been told in the very least they, while on an excursion, had noticed they'd already set up around about 50 tents, so it could possibly be there's more numbers than 50 to 100, maybe even more. It is only speculation at current, as the Jinsei are not my people. But if they are strong or willing enough to work alongside the orcs, people who are known for their belief in those that are strong, I can only assume that their concept of strength first is drawing a kinship between the two. And maybe the people you met are in relation to those people. And if so, you may encounter more of them in the future as you progress north.
That does match the description, to be honest. Because they did seem rather ferocious. I did feel that they were. I assumed they were probably another mercenary group that was sent, but as soon as they, drew weapons first rather than asking questions first, they did seem, a lot less mercenary and a lot more war hungry. So I'll probably explain a fair bit.
What do you reckon they were there for? I don't
know, but they did have a letter on them.
Would you mind if I?
Who picked up the letter? Was it me or was it the soul that picked it up?
I don't remember shit about the letter.
Well, if anything, if that's the fact, then I'm just gonna be like, you know what, I had the letter on me and I'll just send off the letter.
Mm-hmm. So you'll take it, just kind of look it over, read it for a second, like scratching the scruffy part, sort of just underneath his neck where the beard is. I was just reading it. He's just kind of tilting his head a little bit every now and again, and then just passes it back. Rosmandus, eh?
Do you know that name?
It somewhat strikes a chord, but I can't think where. But regardless, it goes without saying, I don't think even with your group, are well equipped for a warband, much less deep in orc territory. So, for the moment, if you see any of them, just steer clear if you can help it. Or if you can get them out of the way, just on the sly, go for it.
So basically guerrilla tactics if possible.
Indeed. We don't need more of their ilk running around, much less if the Jinsei are not at a capacity to deal with them themselves. We'd rather not risk capable people on our side, as we're running low on those to begin with. But he taps the table gently. Unless there's anything else you have to mention, I believe that will be our meeting.
I do have a bit of additional information.
Of course.
Upon meeting the group that you had the meeting with the leader about, I did give them the added tip as a friendly gesture about the copperhead raptors that we encountered, and that thanks to the aid of Halfir here, we're able to talk to, if you remember us briefly saying about the last encounter we had.
Indeed.
We gave them the heads up about that group of copperhead raptors, and they are perhaps on the menu to be being hunted by them, so it also clears up a little bit of added threat that the wildlife would possess to other travelling groups as well as villagers that are travelling around for gathering.
What a wonderful decision. I will commend you on that. It would mean, hopefully, that would be one more monstrosity out of the way, should they deal with it. But, if that will be all that... Oh, and should you be out in the wilds again, I do believe that young lady, just to go off on a side note, the young lady outside of the tent is looking for some rare ingredients, if you have your hands on any.
Of course.
Well then, the last note I will give you all is, in terms of your next mission, I do believe, unless you have anything yourselves to deal with, you can have the week off, and don't worry, I haven't forgotten your pay. I am just currently waiting for the next shipment to come in, so that I'm not left with no pennies to pay for our food. Otherwise, that will be all.
Did we get paid for this mission? Or not yet?
No, that's what he's saying. He can't pay you just yet until the next shipment gets in.
Ah, right. Sorry.
No, that's fine. But yeah, that he then kind of just makes a general like waving motion as to say, yeah, that's everything. You can go if you want. Outside, as you guys, if you want to leave or not, if you have anything else to say.
Jack will just stand and make his way out.
Just before you fully leave, Halfir gently puts his hand on your shoulder. We'll get to that in a second. Nidissa, as you are talking to the fellow merchant / alchemist, as you walk out, what do you say to Kiara?
Nidissa needs backpack.
She raises an eyebrow. I can sell you a backpack, but she kind of looks you up and down for a second. Do you? Okay, this is gonna sound really weird. Can I have one of your quills?
Huh?
Can I have one of your quills?
What is quill?
These niche points toward your spines.
My sailor?
She kind of she blinks and then just stares at you for a second. Yes.
Why?
She then kind of like scratches her chin.
She's trying to trade with you.
Hmm.
You give her a quill, she give you a backpack or something. That's what you what being a merchant all about. This is what you wanted.
He says as he's like open the window slightly. She's trying to trade with you.
This is merchant.
And she kind of looks forward and goes, "Well, I mean that, in essence, that's basically what I'm doing. Yeah."
Okay, that disagrees.
She looks thrown aback for a second and then goes, "Oh, okay then. Yeah." Turns around, picks up a backpack really quick. You see two side pockets. The one big big pouch at the top. Pack. You know what I mean. Holds it out, places it on the table, and then she holds out a hand free and just kind of like waiting eagerly.
I like pull at one of my long hair ones, so like, gives him like ow, and then I'll just like give it to her.
So just checking. Outside the game, real quick. I'm gonna butcher the name probably. Does the name Snavlerin mean anything?
That is Stefan's roommate.
There we go.
That is
Lucas.
You've played with Lucas on my one shot.
Oh hell yeah! Hi, my dude. He said Nadissa is my favorite character.
Who could imagine?
You could imagine.
Couldn't be mine. Yeah. As you take off a spine and go out and pass it, she takes the spine, looks at it like it's made of gold, and like she's just staring deeply at it, and then she pulls out this small like monocle attached to smaller monocles, and just holds it over her eye, stares at it, and goes, "Oh, no, that's weird. That's interesting." Then she realizes you're still kind of there, looking at the bag with probably the same level of enthusiasm. Nice.
Nice. This is an epic trade win. This is my first trade. This is holy shit. Holy shit.
She then flicks the monocle back, puts it in her pouch, looks at your spine, and then goes, I feel like I could make something interesting with this. Nadissa,
Hello.
would you be willing? I don't know how your... And then she kind of holds her hands up and points in your general direction with them. Your anatomy really works. Can you produce more of these?
My sailor? Yeah. Natissa loses them all the time. Natissa can also, she can't really control it, but when she gets really scared, she like shoots them, and I say, and all my frills, like, all my sailor like frill up, like a porcupine racing its...
Suddenly spikes, and she kind of like, with that obvious reaction of like, huh, kind of like backs up a little bit and pulls the bag away just enough that you don't puncture it. And he goes, "Oh, that is really cool. Okay, listen. If you ever want to do some more trades, I will trade you small things and stuff like this backpack for more of your sailor? Sailor. I will trade you for more of your sailor. Since I'm assuming by the way you worded that means you have more. because I think I can make an interesting potion out of them. And if
How
things
do you
go,
get it into the bottle?
what was that? Sorry.
How do you get it into the bottle?
Oh, so I smash it really hard, and then I burn it for a little while, and then I mix it with water, and and then I mix it with like herbs and leaves, and I can make it into a potion. And the more of your sailor, as she's saying it, she looks you deep in the eyes and is like mouthing the word, trying to get it right. And the more of them I have, the better the potion I can make. And I think if I can do it right, there's two things I can think of maybe being able to do with it. I can either have it so that you can create more of them more rapidly, or I can have it to make some kind of wicked cool, like, a body changing thing, which would, in essence, do the exact same thing I just said, but for other creatures that aren't you.
Nah.
Oh,
This is
Oh.
head hurts.
I'm sorry. I just get really excited and I just talk and you see she turns around and pulls out this small pouch. Just goes, here, have this. Pulls out what looks to be these small, slightly multicolored. It's more in the reds, dark blues and yellow colours of what looks to be these tiny balls, and holds them out to you and goes, here, eat those.
Okay.
And you just kind of as you put them in your mouth and take that first bite into them, they are sugared candies. Very tiny sugared candies. And
Just I love these.
A free backpack and candy
yes.
for hair.
Step back to reality. I quickly put the cheese safely within the main pouch. This is very important. You should write that down. You should write that down, Lee.
Cheese is the
Okay.
most
I
It's
put
important
the cheese
food.
in the pouch. Okay.
It's-
like in the main hole.
It's like one of those heists where you're being slowly dropped down into a laser grid and you've got to pull out the gem from the pedestal and put something back over it. You're taking it with that level of seriousness and slowly descending it into the side pouch.
Then I close it up and then I put on the backpack. And then I just quickly run out of like this tent open area. I'm like, the mission. Then I'll just run back inside.
We're still just about to finish the meeting, and then suddenly you burst through the door like, I'm here.
It gets to the part where he's saying like, yep, we're all done now, and he's just waving his hand, and just as everyone's about to start getting up, Halfir sees you're about to stand, Carrick, and he gently puts his hand on your shoulder, not enough to stop you in any regard. He just looks around as Odessa comes bursting through with her backpack on and just looking with that full face of glee. Halfir just looks over toward her as she's walking in, just as he was about to say something. So
This did a trading.
Brick's looking over at you, and he's not really sure what's going on, but you look happy, and he just holds up both hands with thumbs up.
Character raises an eyebrow and he's like, right. Turns back to Alfie and is like, what were you about to say to me before Odessa came back with a backpack? I don't really know how any way else to say that, really.
He looks around the room. So, since it seems we have some time, I've already spoken with Saul about this, but I received some visions of a place of importance to me and the Pentacores. I find it urgent to go there. I need your help, because the place I'll go is... I doubt it will be a simple in and out job. The place will reveal to me a lot of importance a lot of important information about the gods, as well as the Pentacles. I need to know. And I believe my time frame for accessing the place is narrowing every day. I intend to leave either today or tomorrow, and I would like all of you to join me, as the threats I'm likely to face there are not something I can handle on my own, and I can't go without Sol. The Pentacles must be together. Will you, each of you, help me?
Well, we've got nothing better to do.
Is that
Like
part
I
of the mission?
No, Nidissa. But I would appreciate it.
Wait. Garrick sort of holds a hand out, looks to Nadissa very enthusiastically and goes, "Yes, Nadissa, it is a part of the mission, quite an important part, and we also get to help Healthier on the way, so I think this might be very important."
Nadissa's ready.
Turn back to Healthier with sort of like both raised eyebrows with open hands, like, and then I'll just say, "Yeah, well, I suppose we can't exactly stay here, get drunk every day. We'll be draining the camp's resources, and plus, I'm not really one for sitting back and twiddling my thumbs all day, so I'm for it."
So after the thing with Nidissa, he was looking down at you with that sort of face of like, yeah, that'll do it. And also that slight face of being impressed that you know her that well already. And after the fact, he says, "I'm not sure what I expected. Maybe some more questions, but I suppose thank you all for agreeing. It truly does mean a lot to me." Then, if time and your willingness permitting, I'd prefer we leave today, preferably in the next couple of hours, as the entryway to the location only really opens at midnight, and we should, with the pacing we usually gather, get there within a couple of days.
I do have one question, though.
He raises an eyebrow.
You say it will reveal itself in time, but whereabouts are we going?
Yeah. He pulls the, I'm gonna just call it a group map. Okay, so everyone's on the map. Thank Friggity for that. So at the minute, obviously, everyone is right there. Where it will lead is, I'll just move the token. Over there on the map, in between the border of the Razorback and Arginum Horde.
Okay.
He notes that from the visions he's seen, it is beside a mountain, but the location you have to go to is following along riverbed towards the mountain, and then following the riverbed to its end, and the temple itself will reveal itself at midnight, specifically to those who hold the pentacles. Yeah. Beyond that, the specifics beyond that is somewhat eluding him. Would that suffice, or is there anything else you want to know?
Well, that sates my curiosity, if anything. At least we have the location of roughly where we're going, what territory we'll probably be mingling in, and, well, roughly what to expect, but at the same time, this place is somewhat a mystery as it goes on a daily basis, so expect the unexpected, I'd say.
Yeah, in essence. I would like to be more upfront about everything, but these visions I can't exactly share with you. It would possibly work with Sol, but it would require my herbal substances to be ingested. And I don't believe we have the time. If everyone is ready, I already have my things set aside, but I understand if you need to pick up some pieces while you're here. I'm going to go wait in my tent. Just let me know when you're ready to move out.
Of course. Garrett just sort of like stretch up a little bit and just flex his muscles just to sort of like get function feeling again. Because throughout this meeting, his hangover is more or less just waned away at this point. And just the only remaining thing is probably just needing a hit of fresh air.
Yeah.
But he does turn to Reginald and just states, do we have that much rations on the go to be able to take with us, or are we short?
Well, I could possibly get you 2 rations each. Given the number of you, it sort of tightens the noose a bit. So if you can make your own suffice for now, that would be good. But should you truly need
we
it,
can hunt.
yeah, at the very least, he picks up this little, what looks to be like wooden box of some kind that has what looks to be some kind of napkin or something that's from the inside of it. The napkin itself has been trapped around the edges of the box. Holds the box forward. It's only like a small thing. Puts it forward, flicks it open, and you see inside there's what looks to be a series of small like pieces of jerky and assorted meats that he's probably cured himself. And there's a sort of gentle, mostly died down scents of spices on it as well. There's enough for like more like a small meal for each of you. Not enough to sustain you for a day, but enough to keep you going for a few extra hours. A little something extra.
It's always welcomed.
Is there anything else each of you wish for? In lieu of your payment, I could also just ask the dear lady outside to fork over some possibly additional potions or whatsoever else she might have that you would require, and pay it on my side in lieu of your payment.
Garrick sort of looks amongst himself, gives himself a pat down, and then that's when he remembers. He's like, it's not exactly anything in particular that I'm after in the form of purchase, but if you could do me a solid, I acquired this, and he sort of like gets from his back this big old great sword and just sort of like holds it in both hands, sort of like lays it flat along his arms and holds it in his hands and just says, I don't really use these, and it's just taking a lot. It's quite a thing to lug around constantly, and I was just wondering if he could find anyone who'd be either interested in buying it or make use of its metal, and feel free to add the money to when the shipment comes in, if it arrives before we get back.
He nods and well, how about I do believe they go for a decent sum. 1 second. He picks it up and kind of inspects it at first. It's a little bit like rusted in some places, but not enough to be lacking in damage or anything. It's still a great sword. It's not too bad. It has a little bit of wear, but it will still sell fine. At the very least, I can pass it on to one of the men here for something of a sum. A lot of their gear seems to be aged or slightly worn. It's a rather saddening fact. If you do find any more that you don't require, any of you, then do feel free to leave it on my lap. I will make use of it, either by selling it on or giving it to one of the men here to help protect the place. But I will add this to the funds, yes.
Oh, duly noted.
Is there anything else anyone needs? Okay. Then you guys have the floor. The is horrified. The rest of the day.
The Disaphilis sleep standing after he started trying to explain stuff.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not saying anything.
Medusa's just there in the corner, just like. Jeez.
Yeah, I said that Medusa's horrified face was when the trader was going in description of what she would be using the sailors for. Crush it, beating it down, burning it, mixing it into a glass.
Yeah. What do you guys want to do with the next? Assuming you go the optimal way, what are you guys doing with the next 2 hours? Otherwise, I can move things into motion if you want. Is there anything anyone needs to talk about in private? Any items trading? Do you need to buy anything from the alchemist / merchant? Anyone you need to talk to maybe ask to join you or stay behind or so on and so forth?
How many extra days ration did you say that we get? Just the one?
If you guys truly needed the rations, he can get you 2 each. Because
I think we'll just probably take the one unless anyone's in desperate need, because I've got 14 days worth still.
damn, you won't need them.
I got like 8.
That's
if
not
I
bad.
take one. I mean, how long is the journey anyway?
Let me just quick calculate.
I think Lee said in the description when he was talking to South here, possibly 2 days trek, but depending on conditions and potential threats or any other excursions we may need to make, probably another 2. I'm gonna estimate, or 1.5.
So it will take, assuming nothing goes wrong, it will be 5 days. But depending on how many distractions or things get in your way, the worst you'd reckon is about maybe 8. Most likely 7.5 at worst.
So I'll take the extra one, I think, and I'll go to the merchant and try to buy a few more.
Okay.
Good job.
So for
A potion, probably.
nice. Okay. Firstly, in regards with buying stuff from the merchant, do you want to use the gold you have on you, or do you want to forego some of the money you get for your previous mission?
How much am I supposed to get for the mission?
Everybody for the last mission will get the equivalent of 50 gold.
50 gold. Okay. let's see how much it costs, and maybe I'll dip into gold.
Okay. Then. So she currently has 4 green potions, which have a amount of healing that you can apply in any increments, which I'm pretty sure some of you still have, if not all of you.
Yeah.
She has 4 of those. She has assortments of it's mostly like needle armor, she calls it, that's in development, and now that she's got one of Nadissa's spines, she's wanting to develop it a bit further. So she says it's not really recommended to have it at the minute, but if you want to buy it, you can, because it will do 1 piercing damage in return to anyone who hits you with a melee attack in 5 feet. She also sells assortments of simple and martial weapons, pretty much the umbrella of those. She has an assortment of ranged weapons. She also has component pouches, sorted herbs and spices for foods to flavour them a bit more, and so on and so forth.
Okay. Let's say I want. How many days of ration does she have again?
She has 10 days of rations.
10 days. Let's say I get. If I have 9, it's 14. 14 days. Yeah. I think Nadissa could hunt a few more if I need to. Considering last time. So
The
it
ball.
will
Just
take
have
like
group effort.
5 days of ration.
Okay.
Like
It's 5 silver pieces for 5 days. A silver piece per.
yeah. Yeah, sure. So that sounds good. How much is the potions? Like each potion?
Currently, they are 10 gold pieces each.
And she has like 4, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll take 1 for now. If someone else wants to buy, then sure.
Okay. Add another green potion if you don't already have one.
Yeah, I have like it's under potions, so I should have like I have like 1 green healing potion I already almost used up, and 2 more, I think. And what else? I can't wear the armor, can I?
It is a light armor. But I don't know if you have any armor proficiencies.
No, I don't.
Oh, then no, sadly.
Ah, fuck. Okay.
One day.
Maybe. If I'll survive that far. Bolts. Let's say 20 bolts. How much is it going to cost me?
It will be a copper piece per bolt.
Copper piece per bolt. Yeah, sure. I'll take 20 then.
She has a total of 30, so good choosing.
Great. So that's 20. I don't think I need anything else, and the prices are quite fair, so no really need to haggle unless Nadissa wants to
Once what?
haggle.
Does Nadissa want to haggle with the merchant for better prices?
I mean, if you call on her, maybe.
I mean, it's fine.
Then does anyone
Doesn't
else?
have like anything magical or some shit, right?
What, sorry?
Something magical or something that.
Not as of yet. She's not had anyone collect any unique ingredients for her yet. So she hasn't had the time to construct anything new. Up until Nadissa gave her one of the spines, which she will begin concocting as soon as you guys leave.
So does she have like another thing that we can bring other than the list that we got previously?
No, it's the same list.
Ah, I see. So we gotta watch out for trolls, dart tigers, hammertail, something. Ah, plesiosaurus, we need to kill those. The specific one. Wildebeest, owlbear, griffin. Okay. Great, I think I'm done.
Okay. Does anyone else need anything? There's still 3
I'll
green
have a look.
potions. 3 green potions, 5 rations left, and everything else under the mundane umbrella.
Does she have any throwable weapons like darts or anything like that?
She has a small handful of them. She has this a little box of what could be mistaken for like the game darts. They do have these little like tassels at the end of them, that are multiple colours, but they are still simply darts. D4 darts.
They're usable, right?
Yeah. There's 25 in this little box.
Right over there. Okay. And how many rations were left?
5.
5. Okay. So, probably 2. 2 rations. I'll probably take maybe 10 darts.
Okay.
And I still got 2 regular healing potions, and I've still got the green potion number 4.
So how many rations did you want to take, sorry?
I'll take 2.
Okay. That'll be 2 silver pieces. And for the 10 darts is 10 copper pieces.
So 1 silver.
Yeah, pretty much.
Alright, so that is 3 silver.
Nice. Anybody else?
How many potions did you say were left over?
Still 3 left.
I'll buy all 3.
Nice. That'll be 30 gold pieces, please.
Gotcha.
There's still 3 rations left, and again, mundane things under the sun.
Roger that.
Then,
Plus, if anyone doesn't buy any extra rations, I might just take and buy in 2 extra.
okay. There's still 3 rations left if you just want to take all the 3.
Okay, yeah, I'll take 3 then, twist me out.
What can I say? I'm a merchant. So yeah, 3 silver pieces.
Gotcha.
Then yeah, if that'll be that. As you
Sorted.
as you guys grab all the bits you need, you stuff your backpacks full of extra food, full of new, fresh potions, and they're still as slightly green and weird to look at as before, but you've seen the results. You each, unless there's anything else you guys want to do, open-ended question mark.
All I'm going to say is... Oh, yeah, sorry. What were you going to say, Moss?
No, I was just saying that I want to kill stuff.
Oh, fair enough. Oh, yeah,
I got
generally.
fireball that I've yet to use.
Then yeah, Connor.
I'm just going to say, well, yeah, I'm pretty much good to depart. We could probably, on our way out, just say to Lilith and Sir Giants a lot that we're heading off and do another wee bit of exploration of some for all curious means, and just to see what they're up to. Which you can keep it as short as possible.
Sorry, I kind of like blanked for a second. I had a message on the side. Who are you checking on? Sorry.
Lilith and Severus, At first, I called him Sir Giant, but yeah. Let them pass by them as we're about to head out, saying we're now off to do some exploration curiosities, and that we wish them well with whatever they're up to next.
So, as you head over toward them, as the rest are gathering around with Halfir toward the entrance, Lilith and Severus kind of look over toward you. Lilith kind of waves toward you, looks toward Varnex in the distance, and gives you kind of a small smile and kind of waves you by. Looks at you and says, "Well, I happen to be leaving on my own mission, so I think this will be probably our last time talking to each other for at least a while. I'm going to visit some family back in Gustodon for a bit. There's something that arose as of recently."
I wish you luck on your endeavours.
"And you with yours. I hear you're getting up into a lot of mischief."
Us? Nah, don't know what you're talking about.
"Well, at the very least, even if it wasn't you, you have Varnex with you. He'll find trouble."
Fair enough. That's good to know.
To be fair, trouble usually finds me. It's not the other way around. Tell your dad I said hi.
She smiles and then says, "Okay. And listen, I'm going to literally be a continent away, but don't be a stranger, okay? I know that you have very little means of communicating with me, but that's still not an excuse. Try. Oh, speaking of, here you go." She pulls out a scroll, a spell scroll. You see it's made on beautiful parchment, and she unfurls the scroll and holds it out. You see arcane writing that you don't really understand, and some small degree of what looks to be text, but it's just smaller like glyphs that form a circle, and some kind of symbol of what looks to be a scroll in the center of a circle in the middle of the scroll itself. And she passes it to you and says, "This is a one-time use of the cantrip known as mailed message. If you use this and you think of a message of a nigh infinite amount of words that can fit on a page, it will appear in my hands, and I will know how you are doing. I have shown the lovely lady over there how to make them. I want to hear about your adventure every so often, okay? If I don't, I will send you telepathic messages, and I will upset you in the middle of your sleep."
Who's she giving the scroll to?
You. Obviously.
Yeah,
You're the important one here.
yeah.
And
I take the scroll.
so it's...
I'll do my best to keep you updated on our adventures,
You better do.
as well as any updates on these towers and any other magical nitbits that we come across. I'm sure that will interest you.
If she was weirder, she would be salivating at the mouth, but instead she just kind of has this small little smile that creeps around the corner of her lips. I look forward to
enthusiastic.
I have added it to your inventory. I will also add a note on what it does in the drop down.
So it's mailed message, is that right?
Yep. I'm putting the details in for you, don't worry.
And who in the camp can make them as well? Was it Katrina?
I mean, to be fair, from what you vaguely know, she has some degree of magic, maybe, so she probably could. But Kiara, the merchant, is the one that she's told how to make them.
All right.
Whether or not she will make them, or can make them quickly or not, is a different thing.
Is that a home spell?
TLDR, you think of a person, it's kind of like a more simple version of the what do you call it? Sending spell. A piece of parchment with what you want to say appears in the hands of the person you're thinking of at the time. After they've read whatever you wanted to send them, the parchment, it literally combusts. But yeah.
That's yeah, that's a cool spell. Why didn't anyone think about it before?
I place a scroll in my bag and I bid Lilith farewell and everything.
She, with a straight face, looks at you with a kind of sad smile, and she just kind of gives you a quick drop nod, her large hat falling forward with her, and then she gives a proper smile, and Severus looks over toward you. He doesn't say anything, but as he's looking over toward you, he does lower his head a little, as if he's saying farewell to a good friend.
I lower my head as well in respect.
And then raises his head up slowly. And then he and Lilith, they grab their bags and they...
Wait.
What? What?
I'm very sorry, Lilith, first of all, but second of all, I will hug her.
Oh. She, as you're hugging her, she goes, ow, ow, ow. This is very cute, but you're very spiky.
Thank you for parchment, hat lady.
You are more than welcome, and I hope your endeavors as a merchant is very successful and upsets Voronex for the rest of time.
This will be the best merchant ever.
I look forward to doing work with you in the future.
Bye, big man. I'll just say it to him and I'll just walk away.
He just kind of gives a big meaty palm wave toward you.
Okay, Atlesia ready to go.
At this point, Carrick's been low-key pushed out of the way by everyone. It's just, like, just sort of like stands there. It's like, it was a pleasure meeting you. Safe journeys, and just walks off.
And as your group goes together, you all meet at the crossroads, the entrance to the village. Your group starts heading one way, and Severus and Lilith start heading the other. And as they head off to go back home and solve their own issues, and you guys head forward to help solve a friend's issues. The sky above is nice and clear, the sun is beaming. Luckily with the canopy of trees, a lot of the rays of heat are mostly blocked, though the forest has kind of this tropical feel at the moment now as the heat is gathering and rising. A lot of the usual animals, the bunnies, the deers, even some squirrels and the like, have started to hide away and try and search for more cooler areas. You see a couple of like frogs and the like that are coming toward these little marshy pitted areas, and a couple of like more insects seem to be crawling out and around. But as you guys begin your journey from Windle towards wherever this location is that Health is leading you to, your first day will be a nice sunshiny and bright one as you're moving forward. No real interruptions. You see the scenes and sceneries, but along the path you see the ground starts raising up a little bit more. Just no way to really avoid it. It's more like a gentle slope upward here and there. It's not enough to take time off of your journey. Moving forward, eventually as you're all walking along the path, the trees have retained their large canopies, but with your ascension, the canopy isn't as high anymore. It's no longer that 20 plus foot height above you. It's now more in the range of 10, 15s. And as you're moving forward towards this place, there are a few more spots of large damp areas that seem to have not settled because of the canopy blocking the rays. As well, you're noticing more and more trees as you're moving forward are being chopped down, or even in some cases a lot of them seem to have been toppled by some beast of some kind, or a degree of other combat. As you guys are moving along, who has proficiency in survival?
I do.
I do.
Okay. Roll me survival checks, please.
Got it, fam.
Oh, I also.
Ooh. Roll survival.
I
Do
as
you?
well.
Do you?
I mean, I do. Doesn't mean I'll roll well.
So,
Maybe I also need to buy some dice. Hold on, I have dice.
Do you have the curse now? Please tell me you got it now.
oh, he's gained
Hold
the
on.
curse.
I got a one, but hold on, I need to. Where are my? Oh, 1 second.
While you hunt for them, as everyone's walking along, there's something weird that starts to hit you guys that you don't really notice at first, because it kind of has this smell of manure. It's really like potent in the area, and at first you're just thinking like, okay, well, it's a forest, fair enough, things are gonna
Okay,
crap everywhere.
I got my dice.
Okay.
Let's get the where's the D20? Ha, there it is. 12, so that's 15. Okay.
I mean, that's not too bad. It's not really the curse.
Nah.
We'll see by the end of the game, though.
I think the curse applies to digital dice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've got two
Until
sets
it
of dice,
doesn't.
which I'll just put on camera.
As you move forward, Carrick, as you guys are moving forward for the next half of the day, I do like that back set of dice, by the way, Connor. Fuck you.
And what ones? These ones?
Yeah, obviously they're fucking amazing.
Ah, these ones are my very nice fancy metal dice.
Nice. It's
And
just the
these ones are
colours.
just,
They're just the colours are just.
Yeah. Crimson blood red
Mm.
with iron trim is what I think the description was. Which is pretty cool. I love it.
That D4
Wow.
looks like it's already stabbed someone.
Believe it or not, I brought this bag of dice to Kieran's wedding, and he was like, I need to decide something because this is the night before his wedding. And I was like, I got D&D dice for this. And I literally so enthusiastically got the bag, picked it up and threw the bag at him, and actually he said he felt like he got impaled in the chest. Because he wasn't expected to be metal dice, so
mean-
he sort of caught it in his chest. He's like, oh.
Even normal dice will like put you back a little bit, but fucking metal ones will knock you the fuck out.
Yeah.
Yeah. During the next day's period, there's tracks that you start to notice, Carrick. A lot of them seem to be large, not like beast footprints. They seem to be large humanoid footprints, stomping into what appears to be like very thick mud as you guys are moving along this same area. A lot of it seems to have been cleared, so it isn't that easy to tell, but as you guys are moving along further and further, you start to notice what looks to be like large portions of the muck and mud are more pushed into the ground than other portions. And then you start to do some detective work. And looking around, trying to find patterns amongst it all, you find the large footprints. And then you start to find that there are a ton of large footprints. Some spread out. You notice there's like 2s and 3s in a couple of spaces. And then looking around a like good 10 to 20 foot radius, you notice there are another like 2s to 3s. There seems to be a series of creatures that are walking along this road. And not only that, there appears to be another larger set of what looks to be like some kind of 3-toed creatures that also are making large footprints into it, that seem to be also burying a lot of the footprints of the other humanoid-like creatures in their path whenever they meet them. And they are...
Would you say the prints of the 3-toed prints, you said they're a heavier set.
Yeah.
Would you say it a forcefully heavier set or just a natural heavy set?
It seems just naturally, as it's more than likely whatever it is, it just has a lot of weight to it, so its footprints make a heavier impression.
Yeah. I'm glad you knew what I meant by that, because I was trying to discern whether it was natural, as in like the beast was heavy, or whether it was more forced due to the fact it could have been possibly transportational types of beasts.
But yeah, you notice there's roughly about 9 or so, plus whatever that creature is, moving through this terrain. Something recently, like maybe in the last 2-3 days, give or take. Do you say anything to the party, or?
Yeah, I'll say it as I'm seeing it, and I have a few sort of like mumbles to myself, sort of like guessing what it could be. And I noticed that the humanoid footprints, would you say that they're sort of like heavy, sort of like tread-styled footprints, or would you say they're sort of like footprints?
They're actual the 5 toes on the ground and moving along.
So not necessarily wearing footwear.
No, it doesn't seem to be. It seems like whatever or whomever is coming along this that isn't or doesn't wear footwear. And they are pretty big-toed. They're like humans' toes, but slightly thicker, so to speak.
Through a history check, would I be able to discern them as a varied type of race, type of footprints?
You can make a general intelligence check.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
No, intelligence isn't my forte. I'm just wise.
Well,
I'm not genius.
no.
I'm just very street smart.
At the very least, you know they're a humanoid. It could literally be anything under that umbrella, though.
But I won't be able to discern it, but I have a slight feeling that due to the area, very heavily implied that it could be all.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
No.
So I want to say it's orc, but by this point it could be anything. As I did say earlier, expect the unexpected.
It is likely orc, since we're approaching the Arginium Horde area. Goblin tribes are known to frequent those areas.
Yeah. As you guys continue walking, eventually finding a small cove beneath a hill to start a fire with and rest for the night. You have your watches, but nothing more than wild animals cause any degree of concern. Everybody reduce 2 rations, because obviously it would be 2 days by this point. As you wake up the next morning, everything still all fine. You kind of like survey the area just on the off chance that something might occur. But everything seems fine as you continue onward. Moving into your 3rd day, getting closer and closer as you start to notice a small release of the canopy, and you see ahead of you this pretty tall but not like the most majestic thing, mountain in the distance, where just behind the peak of this mountain you can kind of glimpse rays of light being emanated, seemingly naturally from the sun. And these long flowing riverbeds, as you begin to follow them forward toward the mountain in the distance, seem to kind of wind and bend and twist and have this spider-like separation at one point. But using Halfir as a guide and having no disruptions as of yet, you start to just follow forward toward the mountain as your general guide. Halfway through the day, the heat is searing by this point, and the canopy is spread open. There is no protection. A lot of you are feeling the real heat, and it sticks a little bit to you. Brick in general, like he's generally like at the point where he wants to like rip his own hair off because it's starting to mat to him, and he's looking incredibly uncomfortable, but he continues with it, as not only can he literally not tell you about it 'cause there's no communication unless he gets Sol to do a spell for it, and he doesn't want to do that. He kind of just is used to dealing with a degree of suffering, especially heat. And moving onwards, you all notice as you reach this overhanging peak, looking over a gentle brush hanging over the edge of this peak. You don't notice at first, but as you slowly move down along it toward the mountain, you see hanging over it there is this what looks to be a banner and a warning. The banner itself seems to be a Jinsei banner. The symbol of Theron is emblazoned over it, and there is an assortment of bright red and black and this almost intentional mockery of the symbol of Theron, as a bunch of handprints are placed over it, and what looks to be some crude form of writing, which obviously will be in Orcish, over the banner. And you see as Brick
What does it say?
You can speak Orcish, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Remember, I
Yeah.
can speak Orcish.
I keep trying to remember which one it is that fucking Brick can perfectly speak, but it's Goblin that he can
Brick.
perfectly speak.
It's Goblin,
Yeah,
and he can only speak parts
partial.
of Orcish.
Yeah. So Brick is kind of like, he's like putting his hand on his neck and is like trying to read it as you're just like looking it over. On it, it says, "Beware, orcs territory. Will kill on sight." And you read it in a way that makes any sense of it, because what it actually says is orcs kill sight. Orc territory.
I'll say it like that in Orcish, and see if Brick understands what I'm saying.
He
And then
he gets the orc kill and territory parts. It seems he doesn't know the sight bit.
fair enough. I sort of like say it, and then I sort of like get people's attention and just say it in a quieter manner, not silent and trying to whisper, but quieter than normally speaking. Just say, it would seem that we're in orc territory now. The banner just said that this is orc territory and that they will kill on sight. Just a heads up, by the way.
Yeah. As you continue on through the brush itself goes up to, I'd say like barely even under your ankle, really. And it's very gentle, and there is a bit of a breeze, luckily, in this open space. You feel kind of a squish and a muck underneath your feet as the muddied terrain continues, though it seems more hardened than what you were on before. But there is that kind of squelching sound that you hear as the water is like spitting out somewhat. It seems, in a weird way, as you look around, like good farming land, but it's just been left untapped. As you look ahead of you towards the mountain and toward the next series of forest brush, there's what looks to be more trees that have been cut down, and in front of the forest itself there's what looks to be a small, recently well varnished shack. And out the front of it at the minute you can see what looks to be a log that's just been left out front with a single piece of wood over the top of it, an axe just to the left of that. But you don't yet see anybody around it. You guys are currently a good 300 or so feet away, but there's no clear places you can really hide as of the moment. It is an open brush beyond a couple of sparse trees here and there. What do you guys want to do?
I sort of look to Halfir and just say, this is a bit open. Is there not a more scenic route with more surrounding shrubbery or anything we can go?
I only really know as much as many motions around where you're currently at, as much as we can see. All I know is as long as we head toward that mountain and follow the river, we'll find the location from there. It doesn't really matter how we get there.
Well, I have a bad feeling about this, but all I'm going to say is we should probably be ready for the worst.
Was
And that's
everyone,
yeah,
It's
really.
what would everyone like to do then? Go straight toward the hut, or try and find a way around it?
Can we
Yeah,
call it for today?
yeah, absolutely.
Because it's I'm like half here, and I don't want to miss it because I feel like it's going to be important.
No, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, it's a good point to leave it then. I'd say.
Mystery hut.
Mystery out.
Okay.
Mystery out. What will be about? But we'll never know.
Okay.
Until next week.
Then we shall leave it there. Is everyone available next week? Just a forward check.
Yeah. Might be
Yep.
because weed course, but yeah.
Okay. Then, as well. So one privilege of the stream, because your buddy had followed. I do have a follower perk thing where if someone follows and they name somebody in the party, that person gets inspiration. So Nadissa, you get inspiration.
Yes.
You can thank your roommate for that.
Thanking Lucas for the free inspiration.
Yeah. So if anyone has floating inspiration, aka 2 inspiration, use it now. Otherwise, that shit gone. Otherwise, does anyone have any questions? Any inspiration questions? Or
I'm good with the inspiration that Kirby gave me, thank you.
you lucky dog. Okay then. Then, if that is the case, I shall bid y'all beautiful bitches adieu. As that will be session.
Yeah.
Thanks for today.
Yeah, cheers for today, man. As per usual. Pleasure, guys, and it's been good to see you again.
Yes, it has been
Yes.
so long. I missed the game.
I've got my Monday D&D feel. Oh.
Yeah. Now here's hoping we also. Oh, he looks said, proud of you, kiddo. Nidis the best girl.
Nice.
I lost my train of thought, but yeah, I guess stuff, things, words. Someone help me. I'm leaving. Bye.